why this JavaScript is most popular language. Why all the developers loved JavaScript. Hello guys, welcome you all to my YouTube channel. Today video we are going to discuss about why this JavaScript is most popular language. Why all the developers loved JavaScript. And these things we are going to look in this video. Okay, let's jump into the video. Okay, you know JavaScript, or else you heard about JavaScript. Why this JavaScript is famous, and previously it is like a client-side scripting language. Now it is support to this JavaScript support to developer backend applications with JavaScript frameworks. So let's see why this JavaScript is very popular. For example, we can't say example. So previously, how this JavaScript is, so at the very first 1995, I guess, it is developed by Brandon Ike. So he is the one who created this JavaScript. So yeah, absolutely, he's the one who created JavaScript. So at that very first time, so once this JavaScript is used only for client-side scripting language. For example, you sometimes getting confused. What is this client-side scripting language? Okay, let me explain that one. So client-side script means client-side main. So in your browser you have some elements. Let's say you have images or contents with some styles, right? Those are the things we can say UI elements, right? So that UI elements we are designing, or we are styling, let's say we are styling those things with the colors and bolding the fonts and increasing the fonts. Those things we are doing. So let's say, for example, pop-up is coming. Those are the things we can say that is some interactions we are doing with the browser. So client side is for that. For example, you are writing a script, JavaScript, for show the pop-up, right, in your browser, showing a pop-up. So that is everything for handling by client side. So that is what client side mean. But JavaScript, they improved a lot with ES5 and ES6. They now supporting a server-side scripting language also. So let me explain that ES5, ES6 is nothing, just ECMAScript is just a standard. But ES5 and ES, when you take ES5 and ES6, there's some new keywords or new methods they introduced. That is what we call ES5 and ES6. ES6 have something called arrow function, this let keyword and const blocks level variable scoping. Everything's coming ES6. When you take ES5, there's some things not in. There's something not in but released in ES6. That is what the difference between ES5 and ES6. But at the end of the day, everything's a JavaScript code. Even you written in ES6, most browsers understand ES5 syntax. So that is that. So how this JavaScript become popular? So that is the question. So how this JavaScript getting popular is, when you working with a JavaScript, let's say the applications you are developing with the JavaScript, it is, let's say, application has become a large. So when the application growing day by day, the code, everything's are getting messed. For example, you are developing a big application that is coming with the Java. You are writing with the JavaScript also. Then there's, when the application getting grow, then code also getting more complicated. So that is the reason the frameworks are coming to the picture. So why these frameworks are come? So what are the frameworks are those? Right, let me explain that. First framework is Angular. So these are written in on top of JavaScript. So JavaScript is the fundamental, but if you coming with the frameworks, they also using on top of, they develop these frameworks on top of the JavaScript. So this is what we call Angular. But if you are take another framework like different frameworks, we have lot of JavaScript framework developed on top of this JavaScript. So Angular is one of the framework for developing single SPA, single page applications, plus server-side applications with the support of the different packages, let's say third-party packages. So we can develop with this Angular framework, we can develop with a single page application or else server-side applications. Likewise, there's another framework called React. So React is also a front-end framework. So we can develop either web applications or anything, and React also having we can develop server-side application also. So React also single page application with a different concept called virtual DOM. But when you taking the Angular, it is coming with chain detections. That is what the difference between. So another framework called VueJS. VueJS also another JavaScript framework. But I told you I'm just still talking about the client-side framework for front-end frameworks. But if you want to develop something like a backend, so previously we developing with a backend, PHP, those things, but JavaScript is coming to the picture, so they are improved lots, and right now for development we can use a JavaScript framework that is named called NextJS or ExpressJS. So NodeJS is a runtime environment. So along with that, we can use Express framework to develop our backend applications. So likewise, if you take React, you can use Express frameworks, or you can use NextJS. That is, you can use whatever things you want, right? So if you are taking these things, you can understand how the JavaScript is popular. So when all the frameworks are getting developed day by day, the JavaScript really become more popular, because all the industries are using these frameworks. So JavaScript is getting popular, and speed wise, performance wise, everything's very well. So one code you are writing and you can use for any platform that you want. That's the power of the JavaScript. So as what I told you before, if you are using a React framework for a backend development purpose, you can use the NextJS or the another frameworks you can like. So server side. So okay, what is this server side mean? We already discussed about the client side. What does this server side mean? Okay, server side means just basically, let's say we have a database plus we have something to do with the backend or server side. So what we are doing is we are creating some connections, writing a code and accessing a database. Let's say for example, client side we have some certain of forms, right? So once user fill the forms, we are submitting something. We are submit that form to backend. So backend is written in NextJS or ExpressJS. So based on that endpoint, we are taking all the submitted data, and with the backend, we are writing a code to store all the information into our database, right? So that is a backend task. So these are we can develop with these frameworks, that is JavaScript. If you know JavaScript very well, you can write any code, you can write or you can develop any application for any platform. That is, no matter whether it's a mobile application, whether it's a desktop application, you can do whatever the application, you can develop whatever the application you like. So I will show you some frameworks. It's a JavaScript frameworks. You can develop a mobile applications plus a desktop applications. So I already told you Angular is a client-side framework, and React is there, Vue Js is there. There's a lot of frameworks there. So those are resolving these problems. I already told you. When you take a JavaScript, if you are developing a all complete application with a JavaScript, it's more complicated code, very difficult to handle, because the class is not working. Let's say object-oriented program concept is not there. It is a prototype based things we are always doing when we implementing all the application with JavaScript. But instead of that, the frameworks frameworks resolving this problem. The complicated complex JavaScript, we can divide it to small chunks and develop whatever the things we like. So those are coming, and some of the things TypeScript. The TypeScript is just a superset of JavaScript. So it is supporting a OOP concepts and class and static. That's a static interface. Everything we can define there in the TypeScript. So those are the things coming. So JavaScript right now is most popular language already. So I will show you the stats. This is let me tell this. This is October's github.com. This is a stat of last year of the technologies, the language which is popular. You can see here 2014, 2015, 16, 2017, 18, 19, 20 and 21. This is 2022 right now. 2021, it is still the JavaScript is most popular language. And also for a confirmation, I will show you the Stackoverflow stat also. You can see here programming scripting markup language. Professional developers who love mostly is JavaScript language. So this is why the JavaScript is most popular language. So the future also the same. And if you are learning, if you are interested, or if you are going to learning a JavaScript, this is a good opportunity for you. So one code base you can write to any platform, whether it's a mobile applications or web applications or a desktop application. You need to write one code base and do work to entire platforms. So that is how it is. So I already told you ExpressJS is for backend, and you can there's a lot of frameworks are came. So you can use either what you prefer. But if you only need to good at a JavaScript, then nothing, whatever the framework coming, you can survive on that. So NestJS is there. This is also one of the server-side application. You can develop a server-side applications, interact with the database and all. NextJS is used with React framework. So React framework, if you are developing application with React, you can go with a backend NextJS. So that is there. And if you want to develop something called a mobile application with a React, you can use ReactNative. So ReactNative is ReactNative is another library. So this is for developing a mobile applications. One code you can write that you can use, or you can implementing on your Android device or iOS. So you can write a one code base, can generate for Android and iOS. But if you take previously normally also there. Normally what we are doing is, if you want to develop something for mobile application, if you take a mobile application categories, there's two categories there. One is Android and one is for iOS. So if you take Android, we need to use Android Studio, and we need to develop a application, yes, with Android Studio. And if you want to develop for iOS the same application, we need to use a different language called Swift. So this is a two works and very expensive. If you are if you are going to develop some project, if you are going to give into some companies, that will cost you too much. So that is the reason we going with a React Native or something. One code base you need to write for it will support to all platform. Let's say I'm developing my application with React Native. You can generate Android or you can generate iOS. That is there. One code base for all platforms. So that is the thing we have. So this is for React, I told you. But let's say if you are familiar with Angular, so Angular syntax is different, and Angular syntax mean the some syntax are coming with a different way. So the concept is different than this React. So if you are familiar with React, you can go with NativeScript. So NativeScript is one of the frameworks. We can develop native mobile applications with these frameworks. So you can see here, choose the flavor you love. So here they giving opportunity. If you are JavaScript developer, you are only aware about JavaScript, good at JavaScript, then you can develop your mobile application with NativeScript using pure JavaScript. And TypeScript also there. And if you want to, I told you before, if you are an Angular developer, you know the code and syntax very well, architectures, then you can go with Angular. If not, if you are a Vue Js developer, you can go with NativeScript, this Vue Js experience. And if you are using, or if you are good familiar with the React framework, you can develop your mobile application with NativeScript. There's no any problem between that. So whatever the language you know with the JavaScript, you can develop whatever the things you like. The Sultan is there. So this is web native, and another framework called Ionic. So yeah, absolutely, there's another framework called Ionic. That is, we can say it is a hybrid framework. So let's say you are developing your mobile application with Ionic. It is not giving a native performance, it's just giving it's just giving it's just giving web applications. So that kind of that kind of attraction we have. So I tried this on, I tried to develop some application with the Ionic, but it's not giving a native performance. So right now V6 is released, so I guess they improved a lot of with that. So for desktop applications development, we can use Electron. This is an Electron. So you can build a cross-platform desktop app with JavaScript, HTML and CSS. So that's why I told you, if you are learning JavaScript, that is the future. So once you know the JavaScript very well, you can use frameworks, whatever the new frameworks come into in the future, you can develop on top of that, and some new concept will be different sometimes. That is not a problem at all. You can learn that one and develop. And if you are learn something new with the frameworks, you can, let's say if you want to develop some mobile applications or desktop applications, that is up to you. If you learn something, if you learn a JavaScript, you can run a one code and run it to all platforms. So that capability is there. So that is the reason JavaScript is most popular. And I'm still believe the JavaScript will be definitely in the future also keep as same. And you already saw the stat, the last couple of years it is on the same level, still on the first place. So that is the power of JavaScript. So yeah, that's all about this video. I hope you gain a lot of information in this video. My kind request is, if you are not subscribed yet my channel, go below and subscribe, and like this video and share this video with your friend, and don't forget to click a bell button. If you are click a bell button, then only you will receive a notification once I upload a new video. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe and like and share my video. Then we'll catch you on new video. Then bye.